So we have here the Scion FRS, similar to the Subaru BRZ. I'm sure all the electrics are the same. So this installation video will apply to both vehicles. First thing is the fuse puller is located in the battery box here. So you just need to press that clip and then you can get to the fuse puller. And it just goes in there. So we're just doing this in reverse to show you what we've done today. So for the power cable, obviously we're going down from the camera there to the headliner to the A-pillar. This car's got quite a bit of wiggle room in the A-pillar here, so it's pretty easy to get. And I took off this panel here. It's pretty easy to get off. There's a little tab on the bottom. So if you use the trim tool we supply, it's really easy to just work your way up. There's a few clips, but it's fairly loose. So that's the side panel here, and we have the wire going through there. I mean, the other way you could do it is to go down and around it to get to the fuse box, but it's cleaner if you go through here. There's the fuse box and the grounding cable's there, so that's a 10 mil nut. Very easy to do. Most Japanese vehicles are going to use a 10 mil. I'll show you the fuse box here. So for Blacksys, yellow wire is for ACC accessory. Interestingly enough, because I guess this is a Subaru, they don't have a dedicated ACC fuse. And with this one for ACC, we're using radio. So we've tested that one. It's inactive when the car is off, so that's a good ACC. For constant, we're using the stoplight. They're both 7.5 amps fuses. On these low profile fuse cars, sometimes it's tempting to use an add fuse. But the thing is, if you use an add fuse, it's impossible to secure that fuse panel cover. So that's why we prefer to do it this way rather than with the add fuse, because otherwise you'll need to zip tie that cover on. So with the excess wire, we've got it all tucked in behind this panel here. So you can see it just there. You can secure it somehow, but it looks like it's not really going to move around too much. This is the panel that goes in there, so I believe the top part goes in first. So you can probably do this with one hand. It's really easy to get that back on there. And that way you don't see any wires at all. I mean, unless you're peeking under and you see the fuse box there. But you shouldn't really see many wires. So there's the Blacksys mounted behind the mirror. We've used the supplied mounting clips that come with the Blacksys cameras to kind of keep some tension on the wire. I don't really like it when they're dangling. So you can see the lights there. So we use the mirror base to really align that. So you don't have to worry about how, whether it's parallel with the ground. You can line it up with that dot matrix pretty nicely. And as always, from the driver's seat, you really shouldn't really see the camera. We'll adjust the mirror and see. So that's the mirror adjusted to my position. And unless you look down, you wouldn't see the camera. And then obviously with the rear cable, we've gone along there. And in the C-pillar, there is actually a lot of room to keep that rear cable because, I mean, this car is pretty short. We only have about, maybe 3-4 feet between the front to the back. But we have a lot more cable than we really need. So that's a good place to stuff it, and then obviously along the headliner as well. So there's the rear camera. We've got it mounted right up against the edge of the on that dot matrix there, because that way, I mean, because of how steep or how sloped this window is, we really wanted to get it a bit higher, because if you mount it any lower, you might just get a lot of that third brake light and the trunk. So we want to see as far back as we can, really, with mounted in the highest position. And like I said, we have the connecting cable going along the top here into the C-pillar, and most of the wire is under the C-pillar here, and then it just goes along here. There's a lot of wiggle room in this pillar here, and if you use the trim tool that we supply, it's really easy to get it in there, and then just along to the front camera. So because this car has a tint on it, you really can't see that rear camera from the outside. There is a faint blue light there. You can see it now. I'll show you guys the front camera. So there's the front camera. Slightly different adhesive with the Blacksys cameras. The Blackbee ones use that clear VHB. This one is a darker gray color.